Hello, you all. Welcome to Git Commit Merge 2.0 2022. I'm Sakshi Sharma and I shall be your host today with Utkarsh Gupta. On behalf of Sigma Psi VIT, we want to thank you for taking the time to be here today as we learn and comprehend more about Git and GitHub. From version control to Git repositories, we cover it all. So get ready. To ensure that we are on the same page throughout, we have the chat box option enabled. Please do not hesitate to drop your questions or share with us your difficulties and experiences. Questions will be answered during or following the session. Every organization needs version control, and we have a speaker for the event, Anmol Gupta, with us today, who is extremely skilled at Java, C, MERN stack, and curated data for novel integrated crisp Cas9 database and developed the backend of the same. So he is going to explain us what is Git and he's going to invite you to participate in a month-long international event, Hacktober Fest. So hand over to Anmol Gupta. Anmol, you
Okay,
can
so
proceed.
yeah, sure. So hi everyone. So first of all, thank you, Sakshi, for such a wonderful introduction. I think without further ado, we can begin with the topic at hand. So before we begin to talk about Git and GitHub, it's important that we discuss a bit about open source. Yeah. Let me just share my screen for that. I hope my screen is visible. So yeah, let us talk about open source. So open source is basically generally any software whose source code is openly accessible to anyone and everyone to be shared, modified, or distributed is called an open source software. So what is unique about open source is that while it provides you complete freedom to modify and redistribute the original source code, it comes with a certain protections for the owner of that source code. So these protections could include the second person who is redistributing that source code might have to preserve the name of the original owner or might have to redistribute it under the same license under which that source code was originally uploaded. We shall discuss about these licenses more in the later slides. Okay. So since we are talking about open source, it's important that we talk about Hacktoberfest. Hacktoberfest is an annual open source event conducted by DigitalOcean, and this year the Hacktoberfest has already started accepting registrations. So it is a very good opportunity for beginners to explore different tech stacks, to improve their technical skills, and to contribute to the community of open source. So there will be a lot of maintainers globally who would be maintaining their own repositories on like GitHub, and you can just contribute to any one of them. In fact, and the first 40 contributions that are accepted will have a choice of either be have a choice to either get a t-shirt from the Hacktoberfest community or to have a sampling planted in their name. Also, what is unique about this year's Hacktoberfest is that they are also accepting the non-code and low-code contributions. So low-code contributions would include something like testing or technical presentations or let's say technical podcasts, and no-code contributions would involve like writing like creating a sort of a Instagram post and creating hype about this fest online. So Git and GitHub, the topic, the main agenda of our discussion today. So GitHub is a platform that is used to host your source code. It is a platform that allows you to create a local copy of a project that you are interested in and that you would like to contribute to it through a function called fork. So what happens is that you create a local copy of that of the source code of that project with you, and you can modify it, change it, and do whatever you want with it to your liking. And once you feel that it could contribute positively to the original source code, you could just open a pull request, and then it would be up to the owner of the source code to decide whether he wants to merge your changes to the your modifications to the original source code or not. Git, on the other hand, is a version control software. Uh, Git is used to is used to keep track of who made what changes and when. So like it kind of acts like a sort of a ledger which kind of maintains a history record of all the comments that were made. We will be discussing all these terms in details in further slides. Okay, so I hope before we resume further, I hope that each and every one of you have already downloaded and installed Git and have made an account on GitHub. So I'll just take you to this. Let's say this is a GitHub account. I'll just take you to GitHub to explain some of the features of this platform. So let's say I wish to search for PHP. In the search box, it will give me two options that either I can search for this PHP within the repositories uh, of the account that I'm currently visiting, or I can search it throughout all of GitHub. So right now I'll be searching it throughout all of GitHub. So yeah, it gives me a lot of yeah. Let's open this one, PHP interpreter. So as you can see, this is a repository. A repository is basically the original. Uh, is it's sort you can kind of understand it by like understanding it as a sort of a directory which is maintained online on GitHub. So if we click on commit, you would notice that it keeps a pretty detailed track of what changes were made on which date and by whom. So, for example, today someone created a pull request for this to merge branch PHP 8.2, and the profile name of that person was CMB69, and this was done 4 hours ago. We can explore further. Yeah, we can look into it in much more detail. So you can see that what he did was he or she removed this boolean true and replaced it with boolean false. So this is how you can even see what changes were made. Generally, the lines that were changed are represented by a minus and a red highlight, and the final modification that was kept is generally highlighted in a green light and with a plus symbol. Okay, let's see issues. So issues are basically comments on a repository or a pull request. It is when someone wants to give a suggestion for an improvement or a change in a certain pull request or a repository, but they don't necessarily want to provide a solution. That's when you open an issue. So generally, any good repository will have a detailed instruction of how to open an issue in their README file. So these are some of the issues that were open. We can click on it to see further. So yeah, this was one of those. So yeah, generally people can have sort of a discussion over here. This is kind of a forum where people can have discussion over that issue. So pull request. So we can even see what all pull requests were generated for this repository in the past. These are some of them. And yeah, this is all. We'll be exploring much more. We'll be exploring this in detail in later slides. Okay, so I hope that since everyone has installed Git, just go to a folder that you wish to work in. Let's say I wish to work in this folder. I'll open it and I'll just git bash over here. You can even use the normal CMD command line and then just go to the folder if you want to in which you want to work in. I'll expand it to make it easier for everyone to see. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing we need to do is we need to check if Git is properly installed or not. So for that, what we'll do is git version. Yeah, it displays the version of Git that is installed on my system. So yeah, I have Git installed. Everyone else can yeah, everyone else can enter the same command. I'll just share it with all of you. In case if anyone has any doubt, do let me know. You can ask in the. You can just turn on your mic and ask. Okay, so once we do this, we need to configure our Git with a username and email that is associated with our GitHub account. So for that, what we'll do is git config space hyphen global user dot name and then your username. For example, my username is this. So I'll write this. I won't enter this command because for me this is already configured. But I hope that everyone is following along and you will enter your own username over here. And okay, so the same way what you need to also do then once you have entered this command, you also need to configure your email that is for using which you created your GitHub account. So this can be done. This is the same command. You just have to write user dot email instead of user dot name, and then just type your email ID in the double quotation marks. I'll share this one with this one also. And the same way, just also configure your email ID too. Okay, Utkarsh has already shared it. Cool. Yeah, once you have done this, you can check if your email ID and user have been correctly configured or not by just typing git config user.name. Yeah, it displays my username and I'll just type git config user.email. Yeah, it displays my email. Okay, so mine is successfully configured. I hope everyone else's too. So let's proceed ahead. So before we, yeah, also one more thing important to note is that while you might have, when you might have installed this Git, there would be uh, your basically your main branch should be named master. So you need to change it. So for that, what we'll do is we'll just enter a command. Wait, let me see. Yeah, you need to enter this command. I'll share it with you in the chat box. I am not going to enter it because mine is already configured as main. This was done by the GitHub by Git developers to make the software more inclusive towards everyone because master has some negative connotations. Yeah, once that is done, so first of all, before we start working on it, what we need to do is we need to initialize our working directory. So this sigma git set, this is my current working directory. I'll initialize it first. So git init. Now, as you can see over here, a .git folder has been generated. Do note that this is a dot file, so it's kind of a hidden file. So let's say if I create another file, let's say touch names.txt. Yeah, it's created over here, and I'll list the files that are present in my current working directory. So it won't list the .git file. That is because it is a hidden file. If you want to see it in your command line, you'll have to enter ls space hyphen a. So now you'll see that .git is visible. Also, one more thing to keep note of here is that all Git commands start from Git, and every other commands, for example, ls or touch, all these are basic command line commands. These are not particularly Git commands. So every and all Git commands will start with Git. Okay, so names.txt. Okay, so I created this names.txt file. Let me there are actually three levels to Git. There's a working directory, there's a staging area, and then there's a repository. Right now, this names.txt is in the working directory. So I'll enter this command git status. What it shows me is that I have one untracked file, names.txt. That is because while it is in the working directory, I have not added it to the staging area yet. To add it to the staging area, what I'll do is I'll have to use a command git add and then the name of the file. So name of the file here is names.txt. So I'll just add this. So now it is added to the staging area. I'll check the git status again. Yeah, it's added to the staging area, but the working tree is not clean yet. That is because I have not yet committed it and I have not yet added it to the repository. Also, one more thing I'd like to tell you that you can also use git add space dot to add your files to the staging area. We generally use git add space dot when there are multiple files in the working directory that need to be added to the staging area. Because let's say if you right now I have only just files, I have only just one file names.txt. But in case if I had about 7 to 8 files, it would take a lot of time to individually write git add one like name 1.txt, name 2.txt, and so on and so forth. So to save time, we use git space add space dot. This allows us to add all the files in one command to the staging area. Okay, I'll commit the change I made. So git commit hyphen space hyphen m space and then here we have, I'll just write a message so it would be easier for anyone who will be looking at my repository like a week, 2 week, or let's say an year in the future to easily understand that what was this commit for. So I'll just write added names dot txt. So commit it. Okay, now I'll check the status again. Now you see nothing to commit, working tree clean. Cool. So in fact, to just in fact, yeah, I forgot to mention one thing. The reason this .git file is important is because all the whole history of all the commits that you made in this working directory, all the commits that you made to the repository, all the modifications that you made, all these are stored in this .git file. So unless and until you have this .git file, that record would not be maintained. So that is why it is essential for you to create to initialize your repository before you begin working on it. Okay, so I'll check also. So git log, yeah, it will show me like this is a SHA code. This 6845E. This is a SHA code. So you can just copy in case when you have multiple commits and you want to undo some commits, you can just copy paste it and use git reset to undo the commits above it. I'll show you that also in a few minutes. So yeah, this is basically git log. Now let me make some modifications to names.txt. Let's say I add my name to this Anmol. I'll save this change and yeah, just to verify if that change was made or not, I'll just write the command names.txt. Cat then space names the name of the file and the format of that file. It will tell me the content of that file. So Anmol, yeah, I added my name over there. Okay, so if I check the status again, what will happen is since I made a modification to it, it is again removed from the staging area. It's now in the working directory. I'll have to uh, add that modification to the staging area. So just to show you, I'll enter this command. See, it's still that modified names.txt. It's not in the staging area. So I'll just add it again. This time I'll just use this command just to show you. So get status. Working tree is not clean because I've not committed it yet. I'll commit it now. So added my name. This is the message I want to associate with it. Done. Get status. Check again. No, done. Working tree clean. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to create a repository in my GitHub and I want to upload the contents of the my local repository to that remote repository. So let's see how that will be done. So this is my account. So okay, so to create a new repository, what you can do is this is a plus symbol over here. In case if it is difficult to see, I'll just expand my screen. Yeah, just click on it and click on new repository. It will ask for the name of the repository. So you can give it any name. I'll give it, let's say, git pract. I can't use this. Why? Because maybe it is possible that I already have a repository with this name, git pract in my account. So what I'll do, I'll just change it. I'll write git pract. Yeah. So I can create this one. So say GCM, I'll add a description, GCM 2.0. You have an option to either make it public or private. That depends upon the kind of work you are working on, about the confidential agreements and all. You can choose to add a README file. I won't be adding it right now. And you can add a git ignore template. It is generally used to ignore certain files when you are committing it, when you're committing them from your local staging area. Right now we don't need this, so I won't add it. So, and yeah, license. So if you would remember earlier when I began to talk about open source, I mentioned about some protections and restrictions that come hand in hand with open source. So this license is that thing. So there are multiple licenses that GitHub provides. You can uh, search more on them. You can Google them later on if you want. So for example, Apache license 2.2, it provides you complete freedom. So you can redistribute a code, you can modify it without having to pay royalties to the original owner. So this is Apache license 2.0. You can explore more later. I'll just create repository for now. Create repository. Okay, so my repository is created. It gives me some suggestions. I don't need this because I've already initialized my repository. I don't want to add a README right now. I have already made my commits. Okay, so I'll do is I'll just copy this link. Just click on this icon and it will automatically copy it for you. So now what I'll do is I'll enter a command. Git remote add origin, and then in double quotation mark I'll just paste that thing. One important fact to take note of here is that you should use your mouse to paste that thing. Don't use your control V from your keyboard. Use your mouse and then enclose it with a double quotation mark. I'll just press enter. Okay. So what I did just now was, see, remote means something which is not present on my local device. So remote is referring to this repository that I just created online. And so generally the repository that you created online would be by convention called origin. So this is origin. You would notice git remote origin. And I wanted to associate a URL with it because there are multiple repositories that exist on GitHub. And even in your own account, there could be n number of repositories. So how would Git or GitHub know that uh, which repository you want to upload your push your code to from your local repository? So for that, you need to add a remote origin URL. Okay, so we can check it also if it has been correctly added or not. So for that, git remote space hyphen v. Yeah, so this is was that URL. It is configured. So now, okay, you can also see that now, right now I'm on my main branch. I'll just push it. So git push origin main. Yeah, I want to push my contents from my local repository to my remote repository. So push git, since every git command start with git, then push the action I want to do, origin, the repository I wish to push my contents to, because I associated a URL with this repository, if you would notice. And then the name of the branch that I'm currently on. So I'm in main branch, I wish to upload its content. So I'll just use this git push origin main. Okay, so it has been added. Hopefully, I'll just refresh it. Yeah, you would notice that now my repository has this file names.txt that I created on my working directory and then added to the staging area and then added to the local repository, committed it to the local repository. So yeah, this is there. And now what I wish to do is, let's say what I'll do, I'll create a branch, git branch, let's say Because see, why branching is required is this is one of the features of version control. What Git allows you to do is it allows you to create branches of your original main branch, or you can even create branch of another branch. So why it is important is so let's say you are working on a feature or you are working on multiple features. You for if you're working on five features, it would be best to have five different branches for that, so that it would be easier to understand. It would not get too complicated. And let's say if the changes or the modifications that you made are causing an error or are not successful, then it would not mess up with your original code. It would be still safe in your main branch, and only the branch that you created, only that would be affected. So it's a good practice to generally make all the modification on a branch instead of on the main branch. So I'll create a branch add rich. It's best to name a branch according to the particular action it is associated with it with. So since I want to add my registration number, I just named it something add rich. You can name it anything you want. So I created this branch, so I'll just move to this branch. Right now I'm on main. Notice here. So I'll enter git checkout add rich. Yeah. Now you would notice I'm no longer on the main branch. I'm on address branch. So okay, I will make some changes in this names.txt folder. I'll add my registration number over here to BCB0135. I'll save. Okay, this is done. Git status again. I'll have to commit it. Git add. Git commit and added registration number. Okay. Now let me show you something interesting. Right now I'm on address. It has the names.txt has my name and registration number. Now let's say if I move to git checkout, I move back to the main branch. Git checkout main, and now I'll open this names.txt. This one no longer has my registration number because I added my registration number. I made that modification only in the branch address. Right now I'm in the main branch. So okay, now what I want to do is I wish to push the branch to my repository. So what I'll do is push origin in. Once you've configured origin with the URL, you don't need to do it again and again. You can just use it. So git push origin, uh, the name of my branch, address. Enter. Let's see if it has been added or not. Hopefully it has been. Yeah. So you can check main. Yeah, I have another branch address over here. This is created. This has my name.txt, my registration number and all. I can move to the main branch. Main branch won't have my registration number. See, this is the change. Okay. So someone asked, why do we need a commit message? The reason for that is because you can choose to commit without the commit message, but it is generally not a good practice to do so, because let's say you are working on you want to work on some other repository, and there are multiple people who are already working on that repository. So you need to know that why was it commit made, or like if let's say you are the so it will help you understand the code better, the modifications better. Let's say if you are the owner of a repository and someone opens a pull request to your repository, for a modification to your code that he made. So now it's up to you whether you want to merge it or not. But first of all, it should be visible to you, right? That what were the comments that he made about. So let's say we explore that PHP thing, right? So I'll just move here. Yeah, PHP thing. We were here in pull request, right? So as you can see, they have these all things that fix the node that cannot be removed permanently, declare main constant and stubs. These are all the commit messages that the contributors that wanted to work on this original thing have made. They have opened a pull request and their commit messages can be seen here. So if I'm the owner of this PHP, like this PHP repository, it would be easier for me to like filter out like which particular pull request I wish to explore first. So that is why it generally makes it much more easier on like GitHub to yeah, it makes it more user friendly basically. Okay, right. We need there's another question. What is merging? Okay. Regarding merging, we'll be discussing it in like in further slides. I'll be coming to that. So just wait for that. Okay. Okay, right now we were discussing about branching. Why was branching important? Okay, so let's say what I want to do right now is I want to what should I do? Yeah, I will check out that branch. Git checkout. Yeah, first of all, let's check the log of this. Just remember, so far we made three commits. One was when I created names.txt, when I added my names.txt, and then third when I sort of added my registration number to the names.txt. Right now we are in main. I'll check the git log of main. It will show me only two commits. The one where I added names.txt and one where I added my name. This is because that third commit I made in the branch. So the change that was made in the branch will only be recorded in the branch. It will not be recorded in this thing in the main branch. Okay, someone is asking what is a commit. Yeah, so we as we discussed a second ago, so there are three levels to like Git. There's a working directory, this current directory, Sigma set. Then there's a staging area. Then there's a local repository. You need any modification you make to your files or your source code or your code in your working directory, you need to add it to your staging area. For that we use the command git add space dot, where we for multiple files, if you want to add them to the staging area, or just if you want to add one or two files, we'll just write git add and then space and the name of those files like I added above. Let me show you this git yeah, git add names.txt. So what this means is that this has been added to the staging area. Next, we need to commit it. So what commit means is basically adding it to the local repository. To explain it in a layman's term, I will give you an example of a wedding. Let's say there are guests that have come to attend a wedding. Uh, they are right now untracked files. You can see them as untracked files, like files that are there in your working directory that have been modified or added in your working directory. So your wedding is a working directory, and the guests that have come to your working directory are the files that have been added to your working directory. Now, to have a record that that person did attend your wedding, was there in your wedding, you need to have their photo in your photo album, right? So for that they need to be on the stage. So we'll do git add. For that we move our untracked files to the stage, and then we'll commit them. So commit means we sort of take a photograph of them. Once we have taken their photograph, now they are committed to the local repository. Now they are part of the photo album. So now we can keep a track of like anytime we can just enter this command git log, and we can see what commit was made, what change was made, and when it was made, and by whom, and in which branch. This way. So this is commit. I hope you understood it. So okay. So yeah. So let's check out our branch now. This was we were checking the log of our main branch. Let's check out our other branch, get address. Since we made the final commit here, it will show us that thing. Yeah. Now you can see there are three commits, three commit logs. One added names.txt, added my name, because since it was like branched out from the main branch after these two commits were made, so these two commits will also be part of this. And then this thing, added registration number. So let's say I wish to I wish to undo these two commits. Like I don't wish to in my branch add reg. I no longer wish to have my name and registration number in the names.txt file, and I don't want to do it manually. I wish to just undo the commit. So for that, what I'll do is, so since I want to undo these two commits, I'll copy the SHA code of the commit just below them. So this one, I'll copy it and I'll enter a command. Just note we are in address. Git reset. Again, use your mouse, right click and paste. So we have this thing. I should have added a quotation. Or maybe not. Let's yeah. So what has happened now is that these two changes, creation of names.txt and I know the addition of my name to names.txt and my registration number to names.txt have been undone. But look at something interesting here. When I will open it, my name and registration number is still there. Why? Because these changes have been unstaged now. They have been uncommitted, but they are still in in the working directory of my main branch. So to permanently to move them to the backstage. So there's a main stage and there's a backstage. For that, I'll use git stash. Now I did git stash. Okay. Now you'll see. Now it's no longer there. My name and my registration number. Now what I want to do, I wish to move them back to my working directory. I wish to move them, remove them to from the backstage. Now I'll use git pop. No, sorry, git stash pop. Git stash pop. Okay. Yeah. So my name and registration number are here. So what happened here is I removed them from the backstage. Now they are in sort of a working directory in the wedding, but they are not on main stage or in on this local repository yet. Okay. Uh, okay. So yeah. No, we don't have any doubts here. Okay, fine. Yeah. For now, what I'll just do is I'll just git slash just git slash git slash backstage, and I wish to permanently like remove them from even the backstage also. So for that, what I'll do is git stash clear. Okay. Now if even if I try git stash pop, they won't come back. They're permanently gone. Okay. So now let's try to do something. Let's try to git push origin this thing or address. Let's see if yeah, it failed. Why did it fail? Because all the commits that are made, they are made sequentially. So okay, so there was a commit of this that added names.txt and then added registration number in my in the when I uploaded that when I pushed that the when I pushed this address local repository to my remote repository. But I removed these commits here and I want to push it. So I'll have to force push it. So I'll just use git push origin address force push hyphen f. Okay, now it should be done. Let's check. Okay, yeah. So this is yeah. Let me just go to this branch address. Yeah, you can see uh, there's no longer there's no longer even names or txt over here. That is because there's a rule on GitHub that for a file to exist, it should at least have some content. Now, since I removed the every content on mole and registration number, that names or txt will no longer exist. Like it doesn't have any content. Okay. Now let's discuss about forking right now. So how you can actually contribute on GitHub. For that, what I'll do is let's say I'll go to this. Yeah, I'll share the link of this repository with you. Repositories. Yeah, this is my other GitHub account. I'm using it to show you an example generally, but you would do this to someone else repository that you wish to contribute to. Okay, so I'll just add something over here. Yeah, I'll just copy this, and I'll first of all I'll fork it. I can't fork it right now because I haven't added any. If I should start something. This wait, let me use something else. Say session one, this repository. Yeah, this should have one thing. Okay, so I'll just share the link of this one. Okay, just go to this repository and fork it. So to fork it, I'll also go to this repository from my this account. Yeah, so just click on once you open it, just click on this like this button for yeah create for. So what this will do is it will create a copy of that repository. So this one repository in my account. So I can modify this like this repository which of which whose local copy has been created in my account. I couldn't do it in that original repository because it is someone else's repository and I can't make any modifications to it without their authorization. So anyone else can also not make modifications to your source code or your repositories without your permissions. They generally have to fork a repository, work on it, then open a pull request, and then it will be up to you whether you want to merge those changes or not. So fork, okay. What we'll do is we'll click on this code, like in your local thing, in your once you forked it in your account only, just click on it, fork, and then copy. Yeah. So I'll just to show this, I'll just move to another folder. Okay, so we'll just make directory. Let's say git practice 21 pd git practice 21. Okay, now I'm in this new folder. I'll just move to this folder for convenience. Okay, yeah. So since we are cloning it, just note that we don't need to initialize it first. First of all, we are going to clone it. So we are in this another directory, and we are cloning that one. The first of all, we forked the repository that we wanted to work on, and then from that local copy of that repository that we had forked, we copied that copied the URL of this using this, and then we'll just enter it over here. Git clone, double quotation marks, paste, and yeah, enter. Now let's check if yeah, this folder has been created, session one. So I'll just move to this one, cd session one. Okay. So note here there's already a .git file. Why? Because you are cloning it from a pre-existing from a fork of a pre-existing repository from GitHub. So you don't need to initialize it here. This already has a .git, so you don't need to reinitialize it. So I'll just check out the contents of members.txt. Let's say members.txt. I hope all of you are following along. If you have some doubts, do let me know. Okay, so cat members.txt. Okay, right now these two have this file has names and registration number of two people, mine and some other guy. Okay, so let's make some changes to it. Let me add Okay, can anyone tell me your name and registration number? Anyone would like to like sort of contribute here? Or I can add a random name if anyone is not interested. I'll count till five. If anyone is interested and want to give their name, do let me know. So five, four, three, two, one. Okay, so I'll just add a random. Cool. So let's say I'll add the launch. So I'll add let's say 20 BCE 0124. I'll save it. Get status. Get add. Moving to the staging area. Then git commit. Added. Devansh. Name. Devansh details. Okay, cool. Get status. Working tree should be clean. Just to check. Yeah, working tree clean. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is, well, to be honest, I should have made these changes on a branch. But yeah, I guess you just make sure that while you work, well, you can you can work on main, but it's generally such an advisable to work on a branch. I'll just push it. So git push. Wait, I did I add a origin? Let me check. Git remote v. This is one is okay. So since we cloned it, we don't need to add a remote origin URL. And still, if you are unsure, you can just check it once using this command git remote space -v. If you get these URL, which mean if you get this URL, your username and then the name of that particular git file, then you are good to go. So git push origin. I'm in main branch, so I'll just write the name of main. Let's see. Git push origin main. Okay, let's see. Let me refresh it. Members.txt. Yeah, so you can see the change has been made over. So the name of Devansh and his registration number has been added. Now, what I wish to do is, you can notice that you get a message over here. There's this branch that the main branch of my forked copy of the original thing is one commit ahead of this thing. The username of the person whose repository we forked. So what we'll do is if you want to if you want to open a pull request, if you want to contribute to their code, so what you'll do is click on contribute, click on open pull request. You can add something over here to further describe your changes you have made. So I'll just write add it person's details as a part of our demonstration. Cool. Create pull request. Okay. This pull request has been created. So right now I'm looking at this thing from my side, like from this account which had forked the repository from the original account, cloned it, made some changes to it, pushed it back, and then opened a pull request. So I'll just explain the flow again once again. What I did was I went to a repository that I found interesting, and I felt like I wanted to contribute to it, or I wanted to explore or modify it. I then forked it by click on this thing. A local copy of that repository was created in my own account to work on, to modify, to do with, to as per my liking. Then what I did, I copied the URL of that forked version of that repository, and then I cloned it. I cloned it in a directory in on my personal or a local device. I made some changes to it. I checked once that the remote is the same as the one where I wish to upload, push those changes to, and then I push those changes to it, and then once I was satisfied with that, I opened a pull request to contribute to the original repository. So this is a main, like, this is kind of a flowchart kind of thing. If you want to contribute to any repository, this is how you do it. If you have any doubts, do let me know. Okay. So okay, so now we'll look at it from the perspective of the person whose repository was forked by you. So this is that person. Ugh. Okay. So I'll just refresh it. I don't need to do it, but I will still. See, pull request one. So we have one pull request. Okay. So someone said now that what was the use of that writing a commit message? This is, if you would notice, I wrote a commit message, added the advanced details. You would notice over here. So yeah, I'll just show you the log. Get log. Yeah, you would notice over here. This was the commit message I added. Added the advanced details. I can even show you. Just take it above and I'll show you over there. Yeah, this get commit added the advanced details. So now it makes it easier for me, uh, like in me, in the sense for the other person whose repository you wish to contribute to know that what has been done. Okay, so I find this interesting. I'll open it. And right now it's not creating any conflicts because let's say if there were multiple like pull requests and everyone was like uh, adding to the main portion of the code, so that might have created conflicts. And in case if you guys are like really listening right now and like doing it along with me, if you open a pull request, then for sure I can even show you that thing, conflict, and how to solve conflict. But like unless you are like doing it along with me, then it would be kind of difficult for me to do that. So, okay, so merge pull request. Right now, I'll just merge it. So, wait, I'll not merge it right now because I want to show you something. Okay, yeah. So this was right now. I'm the person who's the owner of this repository that was forked. So right now, I don't have that third person Devansh's details over here because those changes were made by you or made by another person who forked that in their local version of this repository. And though they have opened a pull request to merge those modifications in this original repository, I haven't approved that merge yet. So now I will approve. Yeah, so I'll go over there, and for that person who was asking, this is called merging. Now I'll click on merge pull request, confirm merge. Okay. Okay, yeah, confirm merge. Merge pull request, confirm merge. Okay, it's done, merged. It will show you this way that it has been merged. Let's go back here and members.txt. See, these changes have been made over here. This is how you can contribute to any to open source, and you can take part in Hacktoberfest also. Okay, let's see if anyone has any doubt. You can, guys, you can even turn on your mics and ask, or you can write in the chat box. Just let me know if you have any doubts. No doubts. Okay, so to end it, I guess I can just take you. I'll show you that Hacktoberfest website once. Hacktoberfest. So this is the Hacktoberfest. This is organized every year by Digital Ocean. Here you can contribute to the open source community. You can build your resume, learn new technical skills, explore new technical stacks, work in a team, work with multiple people, learn how to work in a professional environment. Because generally, even in companies, they work on GitHub only, though sometimes their repositories tend to be private. according to their own policy. So yeah, you can just go to this website. You can explore further. There's an about section. You can find a lot of details over here. Registrations are now open. You can register for them. Yeah. So this was the session. So Utkarsh, Sakshi, should I stop sharing now?
Yes, Anmol. 1 minute. Give me a minute. Yeah, you can stop sharing, Anmol.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Anmol, for leading this wonderful session on Git and GitHub. Looking forward to see you all participating in Hacktoberfest. You can also do that with us contributing to Sigma size repositories. Link is in our chat box. Looking forward to see you all there. A feedback form will be shared in the chat and Q&A section by Utkarsh. Utkarsh, please share the link. So please fill the form with your valuable feedback. Any queries can be posted as well. I request 2CC participants to fill the form for your attendance. Once again, thank you everyone for attending the session. We'll end this meet now.